all of you. So, okay, so are we ready to cover this? Okay, let's start with this. OCRD, we have to clear it up. Now, whatever I'm writing is just based upon ICD 11. I have taken down, jot down few of the important points, must to know points, and then we are going to fill this table. Don't dilute this table, please. Please don't dilute it. Let's start with obsession, OCD, the first one. Okay. Now, if you look into this, the first one becomes be fast, obsessions, compulsions, or both, which are intrusive, unwanted thoughts, and repetitive behavior to decrease stress or prevent feared events. I have mentioned this also because you need to know. Also, to decrease the fear. Next is body dysmorphic. What are the important components or things are of body dysmorphic? Preoccupied with perceived defects in appearance. These are repetitive behavior. What are the repetitive behavior which is observed? Mirror checking and grooming. One more thing, muscle dysmorphia subtype has now been included into ICD 11, not present in ICD 10, apart from the insight specifier, which you already know. Here also insight specifier I have mentioned. So tick and insight, please remember insight and tick. Next, olfactory reference. What is mentioned? Preoccupied with belief of emitting foul smell or odor. Number two, number two is, see, there is repetitive checking and avoidance behavior is also noted. Often labels as marked social avoidance. Any culture bound syndrome which you know which mimics this? Anyone? Okay, write this. Taijin Kyufushu. It's one of the culture bound syndrome related to emitting bad odor. Next, hoarding, persistent difficulty in discarding possession. Accumulation causes clutter and distress, but still the patient is unable to let it go. There is a specifier with excessive acquisition. Remember this part. Next, we have trichotillomania or hair pulling disorder. Trichotillomania, if you look, recurrent pulling of hair. The important part is own hair, causing hair loss. And there is repeated attempts to stop, but unsuccessful. So often associated with tension before and relief after pulling. Additional thing. Next, skin excoriation, recurrent skin picking lesions. And also there is a repeated attempt to stop, but that is also not successful or unsuccessful. This can lead to infections or scarring. Okay, apart from this, there is other unspecified OCRD. So it means that OCRD symptoms, but let's write down this also. OCRD symptoms causing distress or impairment, but not meeting full criteria of a specific, then you call it other specified. Unspecified OCRD suspected but insufficient info about specific diagnosis. Insufficient info for specific diagnosis. Oops, sorry. Diagnosis. Okay. E-booth is what your OCRD stands for. You can remember it by with this mnemonic. Okay. Done with this. Let's start. Let's start, and we'll now be looking into the genetic parts. Very important. And then we'll go with the neurobiology and then treatment part. Once you are done, just give me a green signal. We'll start. Fine. Very good. Let's start. Genetics. Before we jump into the genetics, quite a long list. Now, most of you know about everything. There are few things which is new that I'll mark, but most of you are knowing things. So ultimately, what I can do is like we can actually look into a summary of it. Then we'll go into the chart. Okay, summary of genetics. Just like the kind of overlap that was there between bipolar and depression, if you know this genetics, anxiety genetics become very easy. Okay, genetically they are very correlated. That is why you need to focus on this. The last segment will become totally easy. You don't have to worry about that part. Okay, now the first thing is, now see, if you look into this, there are candidate genes studies which has been done for specific neurotransmitters. So let's club them up. So first of all, there will be problem with monoamine neurotransmission. In this, please write down that in monoamine neurotransmission, you have transporter gene, you have serotonin receptor gene. This makes one part. The next part is next is dopamine. Receptor gene. Next is glutamate transporter gene. Just a moment. So these are the genes which are implicated. Here there will be problem with serotonin neurotransmission, D2 DR, sorry, D4 receptor will be at problem. So ultimately that will also lead to dopamine neurotransmission defect. And lastly, glutamate defect. That is why please keep your please keep a note of this. That is why when we look into the treatment part, all of the agents will be acting on these things only. So please be alert till now, from now onwards. Okay. Now this is the monoamine. Next, this is what you know. Next, postsynaptic density genes. Basically, if this is a receptor and this is the neurotransmitter and this is the receptor, just think, there are some additional proteins over here called as postsynaptic. These are called as postsynaptic density protein. It helps in maintaining receptor function. Postsynaptic density protein. This is the role. If there is a loss, it won't happen. Neurotransmission won't happen. So what is lost in this? So basically there is a protein which is lost, which is called as postsynaptic density protein. And this is called, this is what we call a DL gap 1. If they ask which is the neurotransmitter which is mostly affected, glutaminergic neurotransmission. Okay. Next, number 3 is the synaptic genes. Just like schizophrenia, here also synaptic genes are important. I hope now these genes won't make you feel boring, or are they still boring? Okay. See, some things you can't avoid. Okay. I love genetics, but if you don't like it, just try to accumulate. Now, here is synaptic genes. Let's look into some of the synaptic genes. Now, see, synaptic genes is these are actually looking into synaptic organization so that the synapse or functions properly. Okay. Now, synaptic organization specifically in the glutamate. If you look, the name is also there. If you want to remember, slit RK5. Next, next is very okay. The next part is cellular DNA related genes. Now, what are these genes? Let's look into this. No, sir, not boring. Very good, Shivani. If you like genetics, psychiatry is totally different, and you'll love it, and you'll literally fall into like you'll love this part. Now, okay, one more thing. If I'm taking time, I should give you one more thing here also. So there is a cadherin catenin complex also. Which also helps in spine and dendritic stability. Okay, the name of the gene, obviously, if you want, is CT double NDI. These all maintains the synapse. Now, inside the cell, in the DNA, you have chromatin modulator, so that proper protein formation can occur. But if this goes, this is also called as neurodevelopmental master regulator. That is CHD8. If you don't want to remember anyone's name, you can remember this name. Okay, these are the important genes that you need to know. All of them mostly are working on synapse so that the synaptic function can occur. Some of them are working in neurotransmission, and some of them are associated with cells so that the cell can function properly. But if these things collapse, you can't help. You can't help. And one more thing, I'll just add on to it. I'll just add on to it. The latest one is, if you're done writing, I'll just add two things and then it is done. Okay. In here, add two things. As far as 2025, most robust causal candidate genes, they are, already you have studied this, CTNND1, and two things to add on. One is R3, DAL R3, and WDR6. What is WDR6? WDR6 is nothing but it maintains cell cycle. All of you must have heard about meiosis, mitosis, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. Remember when we used to study biology in class 11, 12th? Cell cycle signaling complex. And this is associated with tRNA. So this is how things have turned, that we are going back to what we have studied. But I'm happy that you are all liking it. Okay, this is the whole thing about genetics. Now, after this, after the genetics is done, so this, when we go to the chart, it will become totally clear. Let's go to the chart. Shall we go to the chart? Yes. Next. See, glutamate transporter, serotonin reuptake, postsynaptic serotonin receptor, dopamine signaling, everything has been covered. Okay, this has also been covered. You understood this. Okay, BDNF already you know. WDR6, very important one. Now you know it. This also you know. This also you know. Nothing has been left now. Okay, except for this synaptic organization. Okay, this also you know. Except for immunity. Let's add on the inflammation or MHC genes. Inflammation genes. That is left, and we are done. And inflammation genes, they are MHC region 6P21 MHC. Major, what is the full form of MHC? Histocompatibility complex. So this is it. But I'm happy that you are able to understand it. You don't need to mug up that chart. It would be easy for me if I would have just given you chart, but